Hello and welcome to GameSack. Today I'm talking about the NeoSD Pro from terraonion for the neo-geo MVS. It's also available for the neo-geo AES. In fact, the MVS version here had a very small limited run. That's redundant, whatever. But I don't know if they're going to make any more, and I don't think they even know if they're going to make any more. But it is still available for the AES. And I paid $666 after shipping for this. It's the same price for the AES version, by the way. Why did I do that? I have no idea. Well, actually, I wanted to play every single Neo Geo game on real hardware finally, and I also wanted to make an episode about it to show you guys. And I know this isn't something that most of you will want to run out and buy, but perhaps you're still interested in learning a little bit about it. And yeah, I know emulation is free and the RetroPie is the bee's knees and all that. That's fine. But I'm here to talk about the NeoSD Pro, so let's talk about it. Okay, let's check out everything that the NeoSD Pro offers. First, obviously, you'll need to set up your SD card. This process is a little different than other terraonion products and EverDrives. First of all, the ROMs cannot be zipped like you might have them in MAME. But if you've ever used a flash card before, you likely know this is just how it is. The files need to have a .neo extension. To do this, terraonion offers a downloadable app to convert the ROMs into something that can be used by the NeoSD. It requires a lot of runtimes that it, of course, doesn't come with, so have fun. It's kind of a headache. I was able to get a set that was already converted, thankfully, and no, I can't and won't help you get that. That's not what I'm here for. But if you're used to looking around on the internet, then you should probably find something that works, hopefully. Once that's done, you put everything onto the root of your SD card. You can't have folders for different regions or anything like that. And it doesn't matter what you name the ROMs, just as long as they have a .neo extension. The NeoSD will read the metadata of the file and pull up the proper name. So your SD card may look like a mess, but the actual menu will be nice and clean. Put your FAT32 formatted micro SD card into the slot and then plug it into your MVS or AES if you have that version. There's even a headphone jack on the cartridge. This is used for the few multi-link games on the system like Riding Hero here. Unfortunately, the jack is not placed in a good place for my MV1FS board. Not that I'll ever be using it anyway, but I think it would have worked a lot better for everyone if it were on top of the cartridge. There's also a USB port here, which is probably used for development purposes, but I like to plug it in and pretend to charge it. Anyway, in order to play a game, scroll to it and press the A button on the Player 1 joystick and then select a slot to load it into. There's a RAM slot as well as 4 flash slots. Loading it to a flash slot takes a while, but once it's in there, it loads instantly. You can turn the system off and remove the cartridge and the game will remain in the slot you put it in until you override it with something else. So you can have your 4 favorite games ready to go instantly. You can also load to the RAM slot, which is a lot faster than loading to a flash slot. I mean, it's not super duper fast or anything, but it's certainly quicker. But the second you turn the system off, the game goes away and you'll have to load it again. Here's the part where we go over all of the menu options that are available when you press the B button. The first option is boot mode, which dictates if the system boots to the game in slot 1 or the NeoSD menu when you power it on. The in-game trigger can change slots or take you back to the menu. Actually, I think it's only ever taken me back to the NeoSD menu when I've tried it. The in-game menu allows you to set the combination to bring up, well, the in-game menu. More on that shortly. You probably want to leave arcade mode set to no. If you set it to yes, it boots straight to the game in slot 1 no matter what you have the boot mode set to. This is here so you can remove the SD card and just have the 4 games loaded into flash slots available. Back RAM save determines how you write the scores to the SD card or if you just don't want to do that at all. And the UI sounds option turns off the noise that occurs every time you move the cursor. Yeah, that'll make you go insane pretty fast. Keep that off. During gameplay, you can call up the in-game menu at pretty much any time by pressing the button combination that you selected. If you have a really good memory, you'll recall when I was talking about that a few seconds ago. Here, you can reset back to the NeoSD menu, which is helpful. There's also cheats where you can load your own cheats from the SD card if you don't have a Universe BIOS or something installed on your console. You can also do a soft and a hard reboot of the game. There's also a jukebox feature built into the menu. Here, you can listen to the sounds and music from any game that you have loaded into any of the slots. If you have a track list folder on your SD card with the appropriate list inside of it, you even get track names. You know I like game music, so this is definitely a cool feature. And yes, if you have the Universe BIOS installed, it works perfectly for every single game here. Well, except for Samurai Showdown 5 Perfect. It doesn't recognize this one, likely because it's too new. This is an amazing game, by the way. I always felt that the Samurai Showdown games on the Neo Geo just kept getting better and better. Anyway, you don't really need to cheat here. But for everything else, you still have your built-in cheats and what have you, and everything else that you'd expect. The NeoSD Pro does not offer any options for save states. As long as your Neo Geo can run actual Neo Geo games, then this cartridge is gonna work. There you go, that's how you use the NeoSD Pro. KO! So I've been talking about the NeoSD Pro, and you may have been wondering to yourself, maybe there's a version that, is not for pros, perhaps a version that's for complete amateurs? Actually, yes. The regular NeoSD is still available from terraonion, and it costs $412 American dollars before shipping, but it only has one flash slot and no RAM slots. It also can't play Neo Geo CDs. That's right, the NeoSD Pro can play Neo Geo CDs. I'm about to show you. That's right, Neo Geo CD games work on the NeoSD Pro, but not all of them. Basically, you need a folder on the root of your SD card with the bin and Q files from the CD, and then the .neo files that you can download from terraonion, which tell the NeoSD how to treat each game. In the menu, it shows up with the CD appendage right after the name. Press A on one of these and it will start preloading. It doesn't use any flash or RAM slots, they just run. And they're pretty quick too. They definitely load faster than a real Neo Geo CD. This way you can play games that were exclusive to that platform, like Samurai Spirits RPG. Well, if you can read Japanese, that is. And yes, I am still surprised that nobody has ever attempted to translate this one. I guess maybe no one cares about the Neo Geo. Lots of cartridge games have CD versions available as well. Most of them aren't really any better. The main caveat with the Neo Geo CD games here is that the CD audio is in mono. Yep, and there is no way around that. That's because the CD audio is being converted on the fly into an 80 PCM stream that gets processed by one of the Neo Geo's 7 PCM sound channels. Not all 7 channels are the same, as 6 of them only allow a sampling rate of around 18 kHz or so and can only play short samples. The 7th channel can play much higher quality and longer samples. This is why some cartridge games like Matra Melee or Metal Slug 4, which feature streaming audio, are also in mono. Being in mono does take away a bit of the grandeur that any CD audio track may have. It's too bad that this misplaced headphone jack on the cartridge couldn't be used for a stereo audio out. Apparently it takes a lot of custom hacking or whatnot to get each game working with the NeoSD Pro, so I'm kind of doubtful that many more CD games will be made available, but we'll see. So how does everything play using the NeoSD? Pretty well for the most part, but I did run into a few issues on my system. The first thing I noticed is that sometimes, rarely, the audio from a CD game would get super loud for no reason, and then eventually it would quiet back down to the normal level. I don't know why it does this, but it seems random. When playing Neo Geo cartridge games, I sometimes had an issue where some, most, or all of the audio would just go away. Usually I could fix this by doing a soft reboot of the game. One particular game that did this each and every time was Ninja Commando. It doesn't take the audio long before it breaks. However, I found that if I loaded the game into a flash slot, it played perfectly fine. It only had issues when I loaded it into the RAM slot. I asked others if they had issues with this game, and the only other person that did has the same model MVS I do, the MV1FS. I think maybe the game was loading into the RAM slot too fast, which might cause corruption for my version of the MVS. I let terraonion know about this, and NeoDev, who does all of the coding, says, well, it could be that, or maybe it has something to do with the neo-geo CD code, or it could be something else entirely. I've been helping to test firmware updates, so he is working on it. I've tested 3 or 4 different updates so far, and this latest one doesn't seem to have any issues for me with the sound cutting out on my particular MVS. And what's more is that I also don't seem to be getting the volume change issues on the CD games anymore, though that issue was pretty rare. Other than that, I really enjoy using the NeoSD. Is it worth $666? Probably not. In fact, I wonder what this costs to manufacture. This is an item that very few people will find worth the expense. In fact, it probably makes some of you enjoy emulation that much more knowing how much money something like this is going for. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to act like some sort of elite person who's better than you just because I have this. But I do enjoy it though. I'd certainly rather spend a bunch of money on this than thousands upon thousands upon thousands more on a neo-geo game collection consisting of maybe a couple of dozen games. Now I can at least show you any neo-geo game running on real hardware in future episodes if the need arises. And believe me, after spending this much, I'll make damn sure that I find a need to show some games. At least it's cheaper than the $825 that Legend of Success Joe sells for. Now I can enjoy the epitome of beat-em-ups for hundreds cheaper. Yeah! Take that, Streets of Rage! Neo-geo rules! Well, there's the NeoSD Pro for you. Now, I imagine that most of you are not planning to get one of these, but hopefully it was at least fun to learn about for a little bit. And it was fun to look at Neo-geo games, right? I mean, it was certainly fun to play them. Anyway, I probably would have gotten the AES version instead, but my AES doesn't really behave well consistently. I don't trust it, but my MVS has never let me down. Anyway, what do you guys think of the NeoSD? I know your opinions on the price, but do you have any other opinions? Let me know, and thank you for watching this short little episode of GameSack. Good evening. On tonight's edition of Literacy Corner, we will be reading the back of the box to the world-renowned game Ghost Pilots on the Neo Geo. So grab your copy of Ghost Pilots and read along. It's a good day for a dogfight. You'll feel like an uncaged animal with this fierce, action-packed game from Neo Geo. You're pitted against ferocious enemies attacking relentlessly from the air and ground as you fly doggedly on your secret mission. Incredible four-dimensional graphics provide true arcade realism, with 15 channels of stereo sound that turn your living room into a battle-torn cockpit. Nothing can stop a good old-fashioned blood and guts dogfight, and no home video entertainment system has the bark and bite of Neo Geo. So you better be rough and ready. This Major Meg cartridge is for use on the Neo Geo Advanced Entertainment System. The trademark of Neo Geo is registered by SNK Corporation.